No! No! No!
Welcome back, ghosts, to another not so exciting episode of the Horror Pop Extravaganza.
We're somber here today in the studio, folks.
It's like a rain cloud, like Eeyore over the HPE. Just why bother? Doesn't even matter.
Wish I had arms so I could cut my wrists.
Which I was back in 1996. Why is this happening to me? What's up, everybody? How are you? This is the Horror Pop Extravaganza. As always, I am Pops Ghostly, and with me here today is
Goads McDiddler.
it doesn't matter what you put in front of that. The fact that the last name is McDiddler. Oh, give me the first name one more time.
Chodes. Chode McDiddler.
Chodes McDiddler. Chodes, it is so happy to have you, or I am so happy to have you here.
I wish I could say it's good to be here, but this one's a tough topic.
Yes, we shouldn't scare people away yet, because this is probably going to be a very entertaining episode. It'll definitely be entertaining, but it's just something that Chodes sent me a message, or maybe we talked about it after last week's episode. I think we might have been chatting, and he's like, yo, finally saw the new Crow movie, the newest Crow movie, the Bill Skarsgård's. What was this, last year, 2024?
24.
Yeah, 2024. 2024's outing, trying to interpret the James O'Barr source material that so many people have loved over so many different mediums. And we talk about setting bars. Like, you have to have something bad in order to have something good. They have to. I would rather rewatch the fucking Tara Reid Crow
Fuck yeah, dude.
1,000 times. But okay, why don't you first, before, because we're just gonna start, it's gonna start raining shit here in the HPE hemisphere. So why, before we get into all the raining of the poos, why don't you jump into the IMDb? Who's in it? Who made it? Why the fuck did somebody make it? And what does IMDb think this movie is about?
All right, this is The Crow from 2024. Rated R, 1 hour and 51 minutes for this sucker.
And the fucking longest 1 hour and 51 minutes of your life.
Oh my God. Directed by Rupert Sanders. If you've never heard of Rupert Sanders, it's because he's never made a good movie in his fucking life. He made Snow White and the Huntsman, so that means he's the dude that broke up Kristen Stewart and her Twilight lover.
Robert Pattinson. You know what? I don't hate Snow White and the Huntsman. I don't hate Snow White and the Huntsman. I didn't hate it when it came out. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I was drinking a lot back then, so maybe I'd have to revisit it to see if my memory's just foggy. But this one,
You may have heard of his other film that he had in theaters, which was The Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. So you know, he takes beloved source material, wipes his asshole with it, and then spouts it out to a theater.
that Ghost in the Shell is hard, dude. Especially if you've ever even seen a little bit of the source material. It's yeah, that was a tough one. That was a really tough one.
That was rough. But it made sense when I saw that he made that. I was like, oh, okay. Now I know what kind of bar he's setting ahead of time here. All right. So the players in this, someone I always like, Bill Skarsgård. He's fucking great. The problem is he's becoming 2025's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's getting buried in makeup. He's fucking getting lost in these crazy performances that are so far outside reality. I don't know. He's doing something. What do you think, Pops? Do you like what he's doing?
I do not like what he's doing in this, but I am with you in that I really like dude. I've been, a fan for a long time. For me, this, it wasn't even that he didn't, I don't know. It just felt like he was kind of phoning it in. Like he was just there to, say the lines, collect a big paycheck, hopefully, and then move on to doing something else. But even in that fucking what was that, Castle Rock, he was really good in the first season of that. Like he played this cool, crazy character. But he does, I feel like he just gets kind of thrown into these roles. But his brothers get the same thing. It's like you need a great, big, strong, sexy one. Get Alexander, throw him around naked for a little while. You need a smaller square. You know what I mean? There's a Skarsgård to fit every bill. Bill. But in this, I don't think any of the pieces, even if he gave an Oscar worthy performance, it wouldn't have mattered. And so maybe he knew some of that. I don't know. It sucks when you see, this isn't the first one, an actor that I enjoyed or liked or something like that shows up in something where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are they doing? I can't make those decisions. I don't know these people. They might really have to. Michael Caine, when I read his audiobook, said, I did Jaws 4 knowing it was shit, but I wanted to buy my mom a new house.
Right, absolutely. Like I
Yeah,
get that. I understand it. But Skarsgård doesn't need that. He's got like 4 different franchises fucking ready to go.
true. I
That's
don't
all
know,
you really
man.
fucking
I don't
need.
know. I don't know.
I will say though, this was in development hell forever. So many actors have been brought
Jason
up and
Momoa.
Jason Momoa put the fucking makeup on, dude. He was
Yeah.
like 5 weeks out from shooting, and his version got fucked up and
I
canceled.
mean, it was like Nicolas Cage in the Superman suit, dude. Like we got to see that one image of him fucking rocking the blue and the red, but never got to see it happen. And it
It wouldn't
sucks.
have been a good movie with him in it either.
Right. Well, you never know. It could have been we could be looking back on it now, like maybe when it came out, everybody, but now it would be like this treasure of like, can you believe this fucking thing actually happened? Who knows?
But I doubt it. Yeah. So Bill Skarsgård plays Eric in this, not Eric Draven, because they were so pussy that they took the fucking names but didn't use the last names because they were like, "Well, this isn't actually a reboot. It's not really a remake. It's like the multiverse. It takes place in the multiverse."
You're right. Call them Eric and Shelley, but Draven and Webster is just way too fucking far to go
Yeah,
with it. It's
that's
way
too
too
much.
far over
That's
the
gonna
top.
hurt. That's gonna piss the fans off. Fuck.
You're right, though. You're right, though.
All right,
Okay,
our Shelley
continue, please.
Webster in this thing. FKA Twigs. I don't know what the fuck that even means.
I don't know either. I mean, fucker, fucker. I don't know. I mean, I'm a huge fan of people with like 3-letter names and shit, like the RZA, the Jizza, the motherfucking Wu-Tang Clan. Oh, speaking of which, real quick, I don't want to interrupt our show, but I should bring some joy to this episode. So this past weekend, I'm down in Detroit. One of my oldest friends, the guy who taught me to tattoo, just an amazing motherfucker. And it's crazy that we met in second grade and still like know each other. You know what I mean? That's just like fucking 34 years now, dude. Like it's been a minute. But we're down in Detroit for the Motor City Tattoo Expo. And I drew 2 pages of flash. You know that funny shit I sent you with like all the fucking, some guy got the butt plug. He fucking
Oh, wait.
the butt plug that said ouch. Um, I had an awesome time and now I already kind of forgot. I'll just keep talking and then I'll see if I catch up to where I was going. Who knows?
Something about Wu-Tang, I think.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So we're down there for the weekend and it's an awesome weekend. I do a lot of cool tattoos. But on Friday morning, Wu-Tang announced they were doing they didn't announce this on Friday morning. This has been announced, but this past Friday is when tickets went on sale for the Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber tour. And this is it. And RZA, 3-letter name, is talking about each of those letters actually means something. This stands for something, but we're not going to get into all that right now. But this is going to be the Final Chamber with Run the Jewels. It's going to be a huge production, all this stuff. And I sat there at fucking 9:50, dude. I was just waiting. I had my phone Ticketmaster open at 9 a.m. and I was just waiting, da 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 da. Ended up fucking scoring some incredible tickets. And I mean really, really nice tickets, dude. Really nice tickets. With the VIP package that is a pre-show Shaolin party, which is apparently they're gonna have big screens everywhere showing Wu-Tang movies and like there's a Wu-Tang photo booth and you get all this shit and all this stuff. But um the tattoo expo, I should save this for the mindfulness part because that's where I was going to go anyway. But it always amazes me so much, dude, when you have conventions like this and you see people from all different walks of life collectively under one, kind of banner of sorts, like, hey, tattoo. We're all here to do tattoo or creepy, weird shit. So we'll just leave it at that then, and then we'll wait for the mindfulness because I just want to add a little bit of good stuff. Is that Wu-Tang is touring? Wu-Tang is touring. So in the world where The Crow with Bill Skarsgård exists, Wu-Tang is going on a final tour, so that can make us all a little bit happier about life. Continue,
Fair enough.
please.
Fair enough. FKA Twigs, baby.
Yeah.
Our big bad. Who do you go to if you need like a D budget big bad?
There's
We
only
go to
one.
Danny Houston.
Yes, there's only one.
He's great at what he does, but he just does one thing.
Right. And it's the same thing. And you're right. He does it well, though. I'll take it every time. He shows up, he'll do that. He can be very like soulless.
I would take it every time, except this time, I'd like to say, is that I could have done without it this time. And there's not another single person worth mentioning in this whole cast list.
You're right, dude.
So let's just move on and find out what everybody really wants to know, which is what does IMDb have to say this movie's about?
Let's hear it.
Soulmates, Eric and Shelley, are brutally murdered. Given a chance to save the love of his life, Eric must sacrifice himself and traverse the worlds of the living and the dead, seeking revenge.
Boo, boo, boo.
Ooh.
Boo. Boo this man. You ever suck dick for coke? Boo.
I suck dick for less than that.
Right. You ever suck dick for some weed? Man, boo this man. All right. Crow 2024 opens up with a little kid fucking trying to save a white horse from a barbed wire. It looked fucked up. I
It
don't
was
think
stupid. It was the only connection to the comic book. I assume you've read the comic book.
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that fucking white horse stuck in the barbed wires all over that motherfucker. But it was fine. Didn't need to be, shouldn't have been the opening scene of any movie. If Brandon Lee's Crow would have opened up with this, I would have been like, what the fuck?
Right. And I tried. So rewatching this, first I was mad at you for asking me to watch it again because I was like, I do at least owe it that, but I'm not giving it my full attention. So I was half watching,
I'll show you 2024 Crow.
right. I was half watching, half drawing a picture of the old dirty bastard from said Wu-Tang Clan, just because Wu's been on the mind getting them tickets. Um, This opening, like you said, I don't think it matters. Seeing his trailer all covered in crows and shit, seeing the little kid doing the thing, because he's immediately bounced into we see it's a dream. And we get some kind of fucking voiceover like, oh, sometimes some shit's so bad for just me and my girl. Not everybody else. It's everyone else's fault. But it's either way, we get this, then cut to fucking Skarsgård with black goo, like oh, it almost looked like a Lady Gaga music video, like something she would have made fucking cool, you know what I mean? But with this,
Yeah.
it's just like black ink and shit falling all over his face everywhere.
It looked like they were filming that scene for the movie where he comes out of the water and they were just like, let's dude, this is good shit. We could use this again. Let's
Right.
let's cold open this motherfucker with this stuff. It'll be awesome, dude. And we like, remember how everybody loved the first Crow soundtrack? Let's put some bullshit fucking lame ass song in there.
Dude, the music throughout the entire thing feels wrong. And I
feels
hope,
so
my
wrong.
hope in my heart is there was some, fucking grip out there, some PA out there, dude, just wearing a fucking 94 Crow shirt all the time. And every time they did something, he's just, nope, just shakes his head at all of them, looks at all of them like, I'm here for the paycheck, but fuck you, man. Like, I can't believe you're doing this. It's almost like someone took like this, you got a favorite fucking restaurant and somebody had built this thing out of love and all this stuff. And then they're like, oh, new owners. And you go in and it's like, they literally feed you shit, human feces on a fucking platter with some mozzarella on top. And they're like, here, you remember how much you liked the old place? And you're like, wait, that was so good. It was nice in here. It wasn't poop. It was real food. It tasted good. That's what this movie did to me, man.
I felt like this movie was a time machine that transported me back to witness my own abortion.
Visual representation of your own abortion. I'm not far off from you, dude. It's so my buddy Jason sits here with me and watches it. I'm like, yo, you want to watch this piece of shit? And I even told him, like, queued him right up. This is a piece of shit.
Is
And
he
he's
a
like,
fan of the
oh,
first one?
oh yeah, 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 loves it, loves it. And I throw it on, and he even, I didn't. I went into this. I feel like I remember telling you there's something I enjoyed about this. There might have been one thing, and there was one thing that I found in this movie that I liked, and it was when they did that slow down version of the fucking Fugees beat, that doo doo
Yeah,
doo doo doo.
yeah.
But you could have played that in my head without showing me anything, and I would have liked that. So
Right.
it's not like, yeah. But he's trying to watch it and he's like, I'm fucking bored, man. And I'm like, I know. And the one thing I wanted to watch this time was the clock. It was an hour and like 15 minutes in before we get the crow.
Fuck, dude, that's always a
30
mistake.
there's 35 minutes left in this movie of that is the crow, and it's an hour and 50 some odd minutes long. I
Right,
might forgive that if it was 90 minutes and you're like, okay, here's 30 minutes. That's a whole third of the movie. That's the whole third act. You at least get to
right.
see the crow. But in this one, you don't get any of it. You just get sad boy fucking Skarsgårds covered in the fucking people. Please stop getting tattoos like this. There are artists out there who can make dope ass pictures on you all over the place, but just like upside down diamonds and shit all over your face. I don't know. Unless you're Post Malone and you're that fucking cool and charismatic, you know what I mean? Like and he just seems so fucking the whole time. And then
Nothing likable about his character, bro.
any
No,
of them, there's not a character likable in this entire movie.
no.
And
The
that's
characters that
sucks.
we know. There's a ton of characters in this movie that I don't remember what they're in there for, but they have long scenes with them.
I can tell you our first her friend, Shelly's friend, the one who gets killed in her apartment. She was there to be the catalyst for
FKA
Shelly
branches,
to
I
have to
remember.
run. Yeah, and then you had the other friend, the dude who Eric ends up finding later on. But yeah, none of these people really fucking
What
connect.
mattered?
But we do see Shelly's friend, and this is our whole conflict for the story, so we should bring it up. We see Shelly's friend running out of some place, and she's calling fucking Shelly, and she's like, "Oh, I got the fucking video or whatever. We shouldn't have taken it." Da 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 da. She's like, "What are you talking about?" And she sends it to her. She looks at it, and then the friend's gonna run. She's like, "We gotta get the fuck out of town right now." Friend goes to her apartment, and super nefarious tall white lady is in there waiting for her. She goes to skirt out the other way, and somebody pushes her back in from outside. And this is where we get our big bad and learn that he has some kind of fucking magic talkie demon power.
Say what? Why?
Do you got it? I mean, did you pick up anything that I didn't? Is there any exposition to say, like, outside of he's like, I've been alive for centuries, traveling
Right.
on Earth. Yeah, I don't fucking know, but he whispers in her ear and she just takes fucking thing and starts stabbing herself or some shit.
Right.
Like poke, poke, poke all in her neck, and it just starts spraying all over. Meanwhile, Shelly is now on the run as well, and there's some, big bad hit dudes after her too. But she runs into a couple beat cops, and they're like, "Oh, hey, oh, what are you doing there, girly?" And she dumps fucking ecstasy and cocaine all over there, and they're like, "You're going to jail." And we see
Oh,
dude through
okay, so
gun.
you're at the table read for this movie, dude. You're like, all right, we're gonna remake The Crow, everybody. Okay, so Shelly, the reason Shelly and Eric come back from the dead is because their love is so fucking beautiful, dude, that God grants them this beautiful wish.
Right, right,
What should our characters? Oh, she drops cocaine and ecstasy and a bunch of other shit out of her purse and gets arrested in the first 15 minutes?
right.
Oh, cool.
And
I
they're
wonder what's
both,
on that video.
and they're both so, like you said, it's not even that they're so unlikable, it's that there's no redemption arc either. You
Oh,
know,
they're a couple of
they're just
fuckheads.
habitually fucked up people. And
Yeah.
we see him getting bullied, I don't know if we're supposed to be sympathetic for
Well,
him. Like,
sad.
talk, motherfucker, you better talk. And he's just like, inside I hurt. I mean, fuck that bullshit, dude. And so we see them, and then we're in this psychiatric hospital is a fucking prison. Like it's a supermax psychiatric hospital or rehab center. And you got
But they
all
make
these
him
kids
wear
walking
pink
around,
jumpsuits like fucking
right?
fiend.
Dude. and they somehow end up intermingling. They
Yeah,
at
they're like
one
they're in
time,
the same like fucking like triple A or double A. What is
right,
it?
right, right, security, whatever. Yeah, but they're in the same fucking cafeteria. And somehow she gets down to sit with him, and this is after they're like, "Oh, these kids are all violent and shit." And it seems like
Oh,
nobody's really paying attention.
he's about to kill himself in his cell, remember? And then she walks by and he's like, "Oh shit, clock that. Fucking put the knife down. I ain't gonna do that shit till next week."
I would rather watch Edward's face every time that fan blows Bella's hair, and he's like, "Oh." Then I would watch this shit over again because you're right. It's just like, oh, my muse, you know. There is the tragic Romeo and Juliet story, but at the same time,
Not even that though, it's
we're
gross.
and right, but this is the remaking of something that was already there, and somehow they convinced me to love Eric and Shelley and believe their relationship so much more when we barely see them together in 94, you know, like on the bed and shit, like playing with the cat, maybe haha mask or something.
Fucking lights the dinner on fire, dude, and
Oh,
caps it with the thing. And he's like, "We're gonna go out to eat," and you're like, "I fucking love these two." Those are
right.
the moments you try to capture, not like, "Oh, I was about to fucking kill myself in my jail cell," but then I saw this pill popper through the window, and I was like,
Right.
"Damn, bro,
She's my everything,
I
kid.
would come back from the dead and kill a bunch of dudes for her." This is fucking stupid. Okay, let me tell you what makes me so goddamn mad about this, Joe.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm here
Pops
for
go
it,
sleep.
baby. I'm here for it.
Listen to me. If it just wanted to be its own thing, just like the Edward Furlong bullshit, I can just be like, dude, they went in a direction with this that they chose. But you know what? They didn't tread on the
The
original
original.
Crow. And
Yeah.
this one hits the same beats, but
Right.
they're broken. Everyone that was done right in the other movie so simply with
Right.
just a few images or like a sound effect, they hit those things in this one and it doesn't make sense. Nobody cares. You're fucking bored and it doesn't even have the crow in it.
No. Because at this time, yes, we're still in the hospital. She's like fucking something or other. He's something. Now they're madly in love, like you said. But she sees the fucking goons are coming in that we had seen before. Fucking gotta get out of here, Eric. We gotta go. And they fucking run to the basement. He's like, well, I'm coming with you. Like he helps her escape. They jump out, bomb at her friend's house, and just like, what kind of fucking friend are you, dude? You're like tearing through all their shit, fucking all over their
Yeah.
house, blowing
Yeah.
up champagne everywhere. Like, I know you're not gonna clean that up. And then she's like, oh, I remember the secret stash. Like, let's get fucking high as fuck. And you
Yeah.
know, it starts, and it
And it shows
doesn't.
these two fucking get high in the
Right,
bathtub. And you're
right.
like, that is that really what kids think is love now?
I don't know. And that's what I was questioning while I was watching it. Like, who is this for that they connect so deeply with this version of the crow? And I
Right.
get the, you know, the tortured soul, and it has many faces and shit like that. But in this, it's, you know, they took that journey and just shit on the fact of why that journey was so powerful, what
Right.
made it hit so good. They were like, okay, it was again, I think I mentioned it before, Rob Zombie's Halloween. I know why that Michael Myers was fucking crazy.
Right.
His family was a fucking living nightmare. And
Right.
so this crow, yeah, he's just like, you could probably trick him into like, how much you love her. I'll give you another fix if you tell me you don't love her. And
Right.
he'd probably be like, dude, I'll do that. Maybe suck your dick for a little bit. I don't know.
I could totally see this crow sucking dick, dude. Like it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
out of line. And I just don't, yeah, I don't understand who this was for. I really want to talk to somebody who maybe hasn't even ever seen the first Crow that would just saw this movie. And I want to know because I didn't think beyond it being a bad Crow movie, it's a bad movie.
Right.
So like I want to talk to somebody that either liked or hated this movie. So if you're out there listening right now, you write into us. You
Yes.
could you can send us an email at the horror pop extravaganza at yahoo.com. Just like text Pops Ghostly. I'll give you his number at the end of the show and just tell us what you think.
Because you're right, man. I would like to get just a landline and a voicemail. If people would legitimately call it an answering machine and a landline, that I would leave right here in the office and we could just play just run a cable to the fuck thing and play people leave messages. Like, you
It'd
two are
just be
fucking
sometimes Phil every time, dude. It'd be
right.
sometimes. You guy. Actually, you guys, you messed up. That actress was actually from this in the 1955 sequel to. Yeah, no.
We love you, Sammy.
Love you, son.
But yes, they're now hanging out, being crazy. We do get to see his powers. We knew the big bad's powers, and then see him like courting a pianist of some sort. He's into the, and that's another thing is this is so high level
Yeah,
crime. You know,
Top
it's not
Dollar was like street level.
right.
He was just like a. I mean, he did live in like a big cathedral and shit, but
Right, right. With his sister that he has sex with and cannibalized people with. So this,
that's so much more interesting to me than this hoity-toity dude.
right.
Who's that for?
And that again is what I don't know. Is he supposed to represent like the corporate system, you know, the man trying to oppress all people? Who knows?
I
But
think they were just ripping off John Wick.
and a lot of it felt the fight sequences felt like John Wick. A lot of people, to be fair, have tried to rip off John Wick for a long time, but you know everything is just a byproduct of something else. You had the Raid, and before that, you had other shit, badass fucking kung fu movies and whatnot. But they get attacked and suffocated right next to each other. And again, I mean, I hate to say it, but I didn't even really feel like,
No.
yeah,
What happens to Eric and Shelly? I remember that like tearing my high school heart
dude,
out,
dude,
hitting on it, dude. Like I really felt strongly for
right,
that loss and that just like, oh man, dude, like they were on their honeymoon and shit, or like they were gonna
right.
get married.
Oh,
Fuck gets married on Halloween anyway.
nobody, I guess.
But that's the
Apparently.
thing, dude, with this, I mean, they took out the rape.
Right.
That's a huge proponent. That's like the one thing that you could do to a woman that would like it should make the woman come back and be
Front
the
of, yeah, in front of, the person that they love.
yeah, exactly. And Eric walked in on that and saw it, and then it was like violent murder. There was also a reason for it, which I liked in the comic book where there was no reason. They were
Right,
just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
right.
I thought that the movie didn't need to add a reason, but I bought it, like that they were clearing out that
Sure.
building and everything. That was a cool way to do that because they added the whole Devil Knight element that wasn't in the comic book.
Well, if you're in
They
Detroit, you do Devil's Night, dude. Yeah, you do Devil's Night in Detroit.
didn't even know about Devil's Night before The Crow. I
Right.
don't think many people did outside of Detroit.
Right. Or Michigan and kind of in general. It was kind of a Michigan thing, but yeah, you burn
But
some shit
this
down.
death though was such a throwaway, dude.
Hmm.
And we talked about this when we watched Black Christmas. Seeing a motherfucker get like fucking suffocated is hard to watch.
Right.
But I kind of was excited. Like I wish I was suffocating this stupid bitch
Right.
and Eric at the same time. And then they
Right.
just kind of like pass away. She pulls a dumb face. Don't ever pull the dumb face, dude, when you're an actor.
Right. And they both do. He does some pretty good screams, into the bag. But we go from, the villain like holding her and kissing her head and then fucking letting her go. Like you feel worse for John Wick's dog than you do for,
Totally, dude. Totally. And
yeah.
you just mentioned the other thing. Yeah, the dude kisses her. Other than that moment, there's not a single like where I noticed another dude in the room that was like killing them. They took the whole thing about like get the people that killed you and
Right.
just kind of threw that out the window. And they were like, you're just gonna take out all these dudes, and the people that were actually there in the room don't really matter.
That's right, because you're right. In the 94 movie, he wasn't gonna go after Top Dollar and all these guys. If it would have been right, but Skank ran, and he's like, I just want that motherfucker. Like, I don't care. Like, just and then so that's another sequence that couple minutes of film blows this whole movie out of the water.
Yeah.
When he just walks up into a room full of goons with guns, dressed in fucking sunglasses, beret hats, and leather, and just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Skank's like, man, fuck, gotta go, man. Yeah, it's just such an yeah. Skank's dead, man. This ain't Skank. Skank there. There's Skank right there, man. Skanks aren't dead.
That was
Fucking,
good. That was a good skank.
I love Skank.
Yeah, man. Those sequences, and then they throws one of the best lines of the movie. You're all gonna die. You're just
Right.
like, feel that shit, dude. And that music is going, and it's one of the
Right.
greatest movies in cinema. And they threw in little things like character pieces. When Skank jumps up, he throws a prostitute in front of him,
Right. Right.
trying to like get her shot. And it's just like, what a great little moment, dude.
Yeah, it's and then in this one, so they're dead and immediately are in a big body of water. She's sinking, he's swimming, realizes he can't reach her, and then swims back up towards the
Gives up,
surface.
dude.
And he does. He's like, fuck, she gone. And
He's got by.
he goes back up to the surface. And does he pop up in the in between subway world, or does he wake up back at the apartment? Oh no, he wakes up at the apartment because the guy's gonna kill him. The cop is there.
Oh, that's after, I think. He wakes up because he goes from Subway World back and then back to Subway World
Oh,
again.
okay.
So he wakes up, he sees that dude, and he follows him. He kind of
Oh,
wakes up
oh,
next to the side of a river. And then
right,
and this character is supposed to be the Skull Cowboy,
right.
which that's a much cooler idea, but still too lame for the Brandon Lee version. They filmed the shit. They hired Michael Berryman to play it, and then
Right.
they completely cut the motherfucker out of the movie because they were like, "This looks too silly for the movie
It
we
just
made."
didn't work. Yeah, it just didn't
Work.
work.
It was, and it's brilliant because if I had made that movie, I would have thrown it in just because how much work I put into making the
Mhm.
whole thing, and putting that dude on film and filming those scenes. Brandon Lee was the one who was like, I don't know about this Skull Cowboy shit, and they were like, let's honor Brandon's like last
And
request.
I mean, how much of, 94 was him? It's the same as like his father had that on-screen charisma that was just unfucking deniable, dude. You can watch Bruce Lee, in Fist of Fury, Game of Death, Chinese Connection, whatever stuff, and just even without the film on, you're just like this dude. He wants to be there. He wants to be this thing. And Brandon brought so much of that. I think he saw that as, this movie is his opportunity. Like this was going to be a cool thing. And it fucked a lot of people's careers up for a lot of time or for a long time. Now, had his passing not happened, I don't think it would have taken away from the love that this movie had, that 94 had upon release, and then the cult following it would gain later on as people continued to show it to their kids and fucking shit like that. And they're, it just grew and grew and grew into this bigger thing. But in this, there's just no heart. It doesn't seem like anybody really wants to be there that bad doing
Yeah.
that. It's just kind of like fucking phoned in.
I mean, if you were standing there in those costumes, Skarsgård wears like a pink fuzzy coat for like a
Yeah.
long time in this movie.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the time he's like wearing a sweatsuit. And I was like, what is this, dude?
Yeah. I
We're in
don't,
the golden age of superhero movies, and you give us a crow that just walks around in a sweatsuit all day and doesn't have the cool makeup on.
and we don't get the makeup until, okay, so we bounce between worlds though, before we
Yeah.
even, because we got a ways to go before we get to any kind of makeup. We bounce between worlds, and the guy's talking to him, like some souls can't really fucking make it. Something so bad happens. We still don't get as good as Sarah's exposition when she just with the bird flying.
Yeah, dude.
Just, yeah,
A
so
rubber bird going through green screen, dude. And Sarah, this little kid, is just like, she just finished 2 packs of smokes, dude. And she's like doing this voiceover.
right.
And it's great, dude. It fucking tugs my heartstrings. This movie, fuck.
Their relationship doesn't matter. I don't really care about this. We don't get enough of this in between, life and death. They talk for a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, as long as your love stays pure, then you can, continue on this path of vengeance."
And
And
how is his love not going to stay pure? What does that mean? If you
I,
butt fuck some dude while you're out there, you're going to have to come
that's
back.
what I was thinking if it becomes an act of revenge as opposed to love, but if it becomes
The
if
rule of
his
diversity.
motivations become personal or outside of the direction of the love that caused. But again, who fucking cares about this movie? It's fucking watch the 94 version anytime you want to watch The Crow. As I mentioned, I actually like City of Angels. There's a lot of City of Angels I
I
like.
like City of Angels.
There's pieces of fucking 3 and 4 that I like. Or they get progressively worse, but now we got a new bottom of the barrel to be like, yo, this is the fucking worst of the worst. Like at least it's not 2024's Crow.
Yeah.
Um, 'Cause, man, it's tough.
Yeah,
And
it's
and this feels, and I'm not pointing the finger at Skarsgård. I'm not pointing the finger at the director. This feels very much like a studio push to fucking make something happen out of something
use
like
the
you
name to
said
put
they've
it
been
out.
right. It was like 2019's Black Christmas. There was no real difference. You know what I mean? All he said, Blum was like, dude, I don't care what you make the movie. I don't care what it's about. Just put Black Christmas on it.
Right. That's all you fuckers care about, dude.
And
And
that's
I'm
what I
so
think this
glad
felt
that
like.
this movie didn't make a fucking dime. They lost
Right.
their ass on this thing.
For good reason. For good
Yeah,
reason. And so he wakes up back at the apartment, and there's this cop coming in who's on the payroll of our big bad, who's like,
which where did he come from?
I don't know. We just know
Walked into
he's
the place like he was
because
he was like all French and shit. Where
right.
were they at?
And Skarsgård thinks he's a legit cop, and he comes out like, "Oh, hey, fucking da da da," and the dude puts one in his chest, bullet, like, and the fucking shit comes out, and they commence on to fight. We get a couple of good staged fight sequences, but even that, when we live in the world of John Wick, where we watch John Wick run up a fucking flight of stairs for like 23 amazing minutes or some shit like that. We've seen choreography in the fight sphere that is so big and so badass that this, even though it's good, it still felt mediocre. Like everything felt mediocre. The performances mediocre, directing mediocre, writing mediocre. And maybe some of these people did show up, and hopefully that one guy who was wearing the 94 shirt on set's like, I'm listening, boys. I got you. We're going to hold this shit down. Um, but
Here's
yeah,
the thing though. Here's the thing though about the original and this one too, is that in the original, like when he got hurt, he kind of got hurt like a badass.
right,
And when he like that dude like turns the knife around in his hand, it makes him stab his own self like
right,
4 times. And I was
right,
just like, and then in the jail when he was gonna kill himself, I was like, what? And those dudes like punked him, like he's getting punked the whole time. And
right,
I get it. The idea is to show that like he starts off weak, and then the crow gives him this power, and then he can fight
right.
back. Eric had that in the original Crow too. He
He
was a
did.
victim of violence.
Right. But he also, and I do feel like Skarsgård did get bigger, like bulked up. They were like, yo, just keep packing on weight throughout the course of this. But
That boy
because he,
kills world.
he was like, oh, right, right, right.
And
Yeah.
he did that before. That's what he bulked up for it. And then he just stayed buff for this.
I guess makes sense. Make your money where you can.
He's
But
probably like, what can
he,
I do with these muscles before I lose them?
right, right. I got to sell these
Hey,
things.
what's ready to film like today?
I got top prime grade A beef ready for the fucking screen. So he kills this dude. And where does he go from there?
He
Goes,
goes over to Shelly's mom's house. It's
that's
so
right.
stupid.
Raise. And she's like, fucking, I love my child and shit. And then throws her fucking Bloody Mary all over the floor. Crash. And then he's like shoving her hands in it. Ah.
Yeah, and she's like, get out of my house. And then he's like, all right, cool. And he just like rolls back
Goes
to the
to
back of the
Shelley's
house.
room. All
Like,
right.
and I was like, that lady's freaking out in the living room. She told you to leave.
Right. Oh, and then that's where he finds, yeah, like a phone or something with the video on it. Right.
It's so apparently wherever this girl went, she was a squirrel. And she would cut the back out of somebody's wall, like behind their dresser, and
Right.
hide shit in there because she does it like 3 times in 3 different houses.
Right.
And
Right.
by the final one, he goes to her room and he like looks down. He sees where she's been moving her dresser in and out. Genius. And he
That's what
just
it
like
is.
goes back there. He's like, "This is my bitch's MO." He takes out her stuff. He finds pictures of her and shit.
And then
Stuff
I
he's
would
never.
say he,
I realized
yeah.
this is the first time he's ever seen these pictures because he barely knew her before she got killed.
Right. Like they'd only been together a couple of hours from what it seemed like. I don't know how long they were supposedly in that institution, but I know the big bad gangsters would have been looking for her really fast. So I assume they knew each other a couple of hours, couple of days, something like that. But he gets the information that he needs that he feels will lead him to Shelley's killers, goes to his homeboy like, I need a gun. And he's like,
That was
oh,
weird too. Was what the scene? We don't care about this guy.
right.
Why visit him?
I don't know. And we also got to mention, like, we had a lot of just Shelly and Eric hanging out, walking around on bridges, going to raves, fucking,
Whoa.
but not having chemistry.
No,
And
just
that's, yeah,
existing
right.
like
And
two
no,
buddies.
right. Like you could, when they looked at each other, you didn't see that on screen spark that you just get from some people. And Brandon Lee had all of that wrapped up in one. He was like both. You didn't need a male and a female to support each other. Brandon Lee was just a shining star of a human, and he supported all of it. He gave you all the emotion you needed for the whole thing. You
They were
know,
like, Brandon, you have to kiss fucking Shelly for this scene. He wraps her up from behind, dude, in his white underwears, and he's just like,
right,
oh, and their hair just entangles to each other.
right.
Sexiest scene I've ever seen in my life, dude. Lit with ridiculous lighting, and it looks like the most like I'm just like, I want that romance.
So bad in my life.
I just want someone to love me.
And you think about how it's Eric in 94 who carried the relationship with Sarah, where we get to see him bring that out of her. But then you also had a relationship you could root for in Ernie Hudson and Sarah. You know, you had this one there, and you get Sarah or Eric and Ernie Hudson then at the same time. And I feel the big piece missing from this, you know, we talk about the emotion. The emotion in the movie was Eric being able to touch people and experience and be able to, or like items and shit like that, and be like, fuck, you know, and go back, and we were able to revisit that trauma. Whereas in this, it was like the one, but we got new pieces of the trauma as we went back. Like you said, you'd see them dancing, or when he was going to fight fucking Tintin or Fun Boy, whoever, we would see the flashback of their role in both of his and Shelley's deaths. But then you get to Ernie Hudson, and nothing against Skarsgård. Like I said, I love the dude, but Brandon Lee had this ability just to this empathy and softness. He could be so soft, but so rigid at the same time. Like his dad said, like water, dude, be like water. Brandon could do that. When he's smoking, you know, these things will kill you. And he fucking puts it out, and he's like, you gonna fucking disappear again and shit. He's like, no, I think I'll just use the front. You can see the pain and the sadness in this character, in that he just really wants nothing more than to be back with Shelley. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, this is his path to be back with her. And pretty soon, I think it was with her mom in this movie in 2024, where she's like, oh, you can bring her back from the dead, or they start talking about bringing her back or some shit like that. And that killed me, man.
Yeah. I was out at that point. I mean, I was out before that, but that
Right.
was the part where I was like, okay, this movie's fucking bullshit. It doesn't even, it's not even a Crow movie.
Mm-mm.
How dare you?
You can somehow bring her back from the dead, and then we bounce back again to the, or first a couple guys try and kill him when he's at the other homie's house, and they shoot him with a shotgun, and he's full of pellets, falls into the bathtub.
But
And
why is the bathtub full?
fucking good question. That's a
There's a
really good
fucking
question,
full
man.
bathtub upstairs, but it's not been sitting there a long time because it was clean water.
Right. And you're right. And he falls into there, and then he's leaking out everywhere. He's back into the place after they shoot his buddy in the head, like right in the face in front of him. He's back now in the nether world, and decides to embrace everything, whatever the power, and is going to continue to grow. And now he comes back out of the bathwater and like grabs the shotgun and does a quick fucking turnaround, hits my dude in the face, kills the other guy. And this has our homeboy now interested that he has the power of life over death. Like, you know, it's really true. This is going to happen because they couldn't take him back. And from here, I don't really, is this right around where he paints his face? I don't know. Do you remember? Was there
And
any,
so, yeah, he goes back and he talks to the dude again. He goes back and talks to that
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah, the dude is like telling him, like, okay, so here's some more of the story. Like, if you don't notice already, bullets can't hurt you, but it's gonna hurt real bad. Like,
right. They
okay,
can kill you, but it's going to hurt. Yeah.
I didn't tell you this before, but like, if you paint your face, you'll be a real badass. And
Right.
then you
But
can bring Shelly back, but you got to paint your face first. And he's like, all right.
he's like, don't do it good. Don't use any
Yeah,
white paint like theater paint. Don't use just use oil. Like just
don't do the
motor oil.
tattoo that was such a fucking phone in tattoo.
Right.
As a tattoo artist, you had to have hated that she had the fucking drama masks.
So I was looking at more of the way the tattoo artist was grinding on his skin and then wiped it away, and there was just like this one clean line, and I'm like, that's not how it works. Like you'd be, pulling that line or pushing it, I don't know, you'd be going one way or the other, but you wouldn't be like, and then take it away, and there's this little thin line. I thought the majority of his tattoos, I didn't get to see them all, but were kind of crazy.
I think they just used Jared Leto's tattoo.
From the Joker. They're like, we thought we were going to sell these at Spencer's for like 10 years. The movie bombed. Ship them all off. Fucking.
Skarsgård's like, I'll use that shit.
Right. Because I think it's above his eye says lullaby. They're very sad boy tattoos, is what it is. They're
Those
very,
guys
very
should have
sad.
killed him in the very opening scene, and this movie would have been way better.
Dude, for real. But he comes back, takes care of these two, paints himself up, gets a fucking ninja sword. I don't know where the ninja sword came from.
I so was checked out of the movie. I thought the same thing when he pulled it out and started murdering people with it. I was like, "Where did that come from?"
Yeah.
I think
it
they
might
did
have been
show
on
it though.
his wall. And what blows my mind is he's like a junkie and shit and can like barely keep his head above water, but he's got a really good recording setup, like nice keyboards, monitors, and shit like that. That's neither here nor there, and a decent place to live. But yeah, he gets the samurai sword, and now he's going first. He's outside the performance, the opera house, and gets the first guy, and they're like, "We killed you." And again, it's delivered so poorly.
Also we haven't mentioned the crow was flying around with him this entire time as a complete afterthought.
Right.
And the crow like showed Brandon where to go, landed on motherfuckers' windows and was like, click, click, this is the one to kill.
Right.
This crow just follows this dude around. They go to fucking Pizza Hut together. They fucking it's ridiculous, dude. And then at this point, he's literally just walking by the opera house, walks by a car. He's like, hey, bro, wait a minute. That was one of the guys that killed me. Goes, knocks on the window. The dude's like,
Right.
we killed you. And then you notice this motherfucker has one eye for some reason.
He had one eye before. I feel like he had one eye earlier. But yeah, why does he have one eye? But when you look back at the 94 scene, that scene, nah, man, you're dead, man. Like when he realizes who it is, and he sees it. Skarsgård's not hidden at all under the makeup. Like he's still exactly the same person. And you're right. He's just like, we killed you before, right? And in the one, he's like, no, man. Right. He's like, nah, you're dead. There ain't no coming back, man. There ain't no. And then he just starts quoting fucking Dante, and you're like, what? Like, this is crazy. So
you broke this man by looking at him.
Right.
How badass Brandon Lee was. He broke that dude's brain. Well, he was kind of broke already. But like at that moment, his brain just fucking snapped.
Right. And we got to see him go through the whole thing. He's like, what do you want? Fucking girls, money? Fucking, when he's in the backseat, come on, man, tell me, what do you want? And then you see him drop and he's like, oh shit. There ain't no coming back, man. There ain't no fuck. And it's just so
that means so much more. Every person he ever killed, he now realizes had a fucking soul and he's responsible for all that. And that fucking plays on the actor's face.
And it ties into the fucking, how he met them the year before with that copy that we've talked about, the book that he bought and shit, to have this really intense thing and just like, and this is just like, yeah, oh man, we killed you. And he's like, get it, tell me where they're all at. And so they go to the opera house. We do this big combat mirrored with operatic music, intercut with phone calls, people talking. A couple of the kills, I guess, are okay when he shoves that guy's sword right through his mouth and his whole bottom jaw. That reminds me a little more of the comic stuff, the like hyper aggressive. But for the majority, it's stuff we've seen done better.
Right. Yeah.
If you're a fan of action movies, yeah. John Wick really brought to the American audience something I don't think they expected, but I'm glad that they brought over. But you also had with John Wick the unfucking undeniable, oozing charisma that is Keanu Reeves.
You're 100% right. Could Keanu Reeves save this movie?
I don't think so, because I think you got to bring the writing The writing has to be saved first. The story has to be saved because this story, no, but like I said, Skarsgård could have gave an Oscar-worthy Crow performance, but I don't think it would have ever really mattered because it's surrounded by too much that just doesn't make any sense. It's a cash grab movie. I don't know if Keanu would have done it. I love that he did Bill and Ted 3 because he was like, yo, I love you guys. Like, thanks for the fucking, for helping me do my things and shit like that. But I think Keanu's done some bad movies. That fucking Knock Knock remake, the Eli Roth one. I got you guys pizza. What are you doing? We got pizza. He's buried up to his head and shit. That was not a good remake. That original is a way, way better movie. So kind of like this situation we're in right now. With, I guess, a similar situation. Two actors that I really fucking like who were just in some shit movies. So fillets and slices his way through everything, finally works his way up to the box where the blonde woman who we've seen, she's kind of like the right-hand person to the big boss. And he calls her and is like, you've been useful up until this point, goodbye. And she's like, oh no. And her and her husband are up there. Skarsgård walks in. He tries to shoot him a couple times, and he fucking just lops dude's arm right off, cuts his head off, carries it in there with him like a bowling ball. And he's sitting there talking to her like, "Where is he? You know what's coming." And she tries, and again, I feel no sympathy for this woman. She's like, "Oh, you start good, and then you get a little bad, and then before you know it, you're in the worst. Fucking me. I'm like, who cares? Cuts her head off or whatever. She gone. Now he's in his little car, taking off, going to the country estate of this dude. But somewhere in between here, we get him back in the subway where he's like, why the fuck am I back here? And he's like, oh, because you not doing it for love anymore. And he's like, okay, I'll trade you souls. And he's like, oh, we can't do that. Damn souls and this, that. Like, just, yeah, throw words around and people might be like, oh, it sounds scary.
Words.
Right. Words. And so she fucking, or he's like, I'll trade souls. They kind of work this thing out. He gets up to the villain guy. And I mean, I've literally just finished watching this and I can barely remember because I was so checked out. I know they have this exchange in a big hall by a fireside somewhere, maybe fight a little bit. And then he pulls him into the nether space. And then that's where all these fucking nightmare hands come out of the goo and start maybe all the people he's killed. Because he says, like, I've killed thousands of people just like you over the course of my centuries or whatever, something like that. And again, you go back to 94. First off, you're fighting in the rain on top of a church.
Yeah.
That's always going to be way cooler than under the ground in a fucking gross looking subway. You're fighting in the rain on top of a church. And here's Brandon Lee delivering, here's all the pain, and Top Dollar can't take it. And we see this and we see a man being freed from what is a gift and a curse in many ways because he had to come back. He had to see his life or everyone had moved on. Life was gone. The life he knew wasn't there. And he's like, so many hours of fucking, we get the pow, pow, lightning and shit everywhere. And there's just, the rain washing away the fucking sins and the pain and all these things. And in this, it's just like dudes in CGI goo with like weird hands coming up. It's rough, man. It's rough. And then we get the biggest slap to the face of all. We get Shelley waking up, essentially, I guess, right where they started. So are all the other people alive?
I don't know. Did we go back in time?
That's what I was wondering. Are we back in times? Because she wakes up on the floor and sees Eric's dead body. But then sees the tattoo or something that fills her in on the fact that he had sacrificed himself for her because she's got to know, right? If she doesn't know that, right. But who cares at this point? Because she's probably just going to fucking kill herself, right? She's going to overdose on drugs right after she's going to be like, my boyfriend's dead. And then she's going to be dead. Just like he was in the jail cell. You know what I mean? She'll just be
her mom died too.
Oh, that's right. So now she has no family.
Nobody. She has nothing. Her friend's dead. Her best friend died at the beginning.
Both of her friends, the two friends that were with her.
Oh, yeah. The other guy, too.
Yeah, the homie. He died, too.
Fuck this movie, dude. This movie's stupid. I hope I can one day burn every copy of this and erase it from existence.
One day, everything will be erased from existence. So you can rest easy knowing that one day this movie will be gone forever.
That's the only thing that gives me peace. That's the only way I'll be able to sleep tonight.
When I need a mindful moment, I just think about one day nobody will ever have to watch this again. Oh, and what makes it worse is yesterday I just fucking sat around and did nothing. Give me a second to
Yeah, read loud, baby.
hydrate. So I
Oh,
sat around, did nothing because I drove down to Detroit, did the show for 3 days. It was really good because it allowed me to look like I can do 3 days. But then I came back and the next day after, I was like fucking down, dude. I was just on the couch chilling. I slept for 14 hours before I woke up, and then I just sat on the couch. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw on Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill back to back.
whoa, nice.
And so I prefer to watch Kill Bill that way if I can. I feel like it's the right way to watch that,
So
volume one and
long.
volume two. It is like 4 hours, but some of my other just standalone movies are close to 4 hours long. But after sitting through that and being like, fuck, this is so good. And then I go today and watch The Crow, and I think it makes it even worse because I just came off of, and I do feel I like Kill Bill Volume One more than I like the second one, even though Michael Parks is fucking the Esteban out there fucking. I remember Bill sucking his thumb when you'll see the blondes. I do this. I'll cut your face up. He's so good. I like, but he's also so good in the fucking first one. But yeah, so Ian without Kill Bill though, out of how many oily faced crows do you give 2024 as the crow?
Zero, absolute fucking zero. If we could do negatives on this show, I'd do it. Fuck this movie and everything about it. If you like this movie, I fucking hate you.
Stop. You don't hate someone because they dislike you. How did you and I meet? Think about that. Think about that. There could be
That over the
someone
hate
out there.
Predator.
Yes, you did tell me you're like, this movie is fucking bullshit. And I was like,
Dude, this
tell
movie,
me
that
why.
movie's a fucking Oscar-winning prize compared to this.
Speaking of the Oscars, I have seen nothing from it. I don't know anything that won anything, but I saw the clip of Adam Sandler fucking kiss.
Me too.
Chalamet. Like, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. I
Yeah,
like him.
there's one of the good ones left.
There's a couple of them, but yeah, he is definitely one of the good ones. Um, I am giving this a 0.25 only in the hope, or no, only because it gave me that cool Fuji's beat. I was like, I need to add that to my shit and look into that a little bit more. And that is it. It was good. It was good the way they did it. But other than that, I am 100% with you, man. I was sad that I had to rewatch this again. I was like, okay, so would you rather rewatch this or Rubber?
Fuck, dude. Either scenario, dude, is like my hell scenario. Like, what will happen to me after for all the things
Just
I've done?
Sophie's choice. I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna be like strapped to a fucking chair, dude, and like there's gonna be rubber on one screen and fucking this crow in the other, and that's my fucking eternity.
Oh, 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 that sounds so
At full
terrible.
blast, dude. Always for eternity.
One side, there's a tire telepathically blowing up rabbits. And on the other side, it's an abomination of your favorite movie ever.
Skarsgård taking an oil bath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I gotta say, man, I'm with you there. There is no reason I would encourage someone to watch this.
No, there's
Zero reason.
nothing there.
Okay.
Nothing there. And I think that's the lowest score we've ever given anything on this show.
It might be the lowest score we ever give anything.
I
Because
hope it is.
right, because if we find something worse than this, ooh, that'd be kind of tough. I mean, I know there's some of them out there that you might feel the same way about, like they're terrible, like Rubber, but I won't subject you to those things. Even though I know a lot of people like Rubber, I haven't met anybody yet who likes this. Like I personally know people who like Rubber. You know what I mean? They think
Right.
that
Yeah.
shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. Haven't had the conversation yet with any of my circle of film people, movie people who are like, "Yo, I like that new Crow. Let's fucking argue about why it's a good
I would
movie."
love. I'll bring them on the show, dude. If any
Yeah,
of them say that, and
yeah.
I will do the same. If any of my friends hear this and want to be on, Nick, if you love The Crow, come on, brother.
Oh,
Let's talk
that's less. You're going into the fucking lion's den.
about
Get
it.
ready. But I think it's a hard argument to make regardless. It's like Van Zandt's fucking Psycho, where a shot for shot remake of the movie, and it's like never was there a reason. Never was
That's the
there a
thing.
reason.
That's the thing that actually makes me feel good about this movie is that as terrible as it is, I don't feel like it in any way tarnishes Brandon Lee's movie. If they would have made it close and it would have been kind of good but sucky,
Right.
it would have kind of felt like, ew, they cast somebody else as Eric Draven. I don't feel like that happened with this.
No, I don't think it could ever happen, dude. It would be like trying to remake Enter the Dragon and recast Bruce Lee. Like it's not possible. There are
Right.
some people that you just can't do. And I feel for the most part, you shouldn't do a lot of things over again, especially the good shit. The good shit
Yeah,
is the
make
stuff you
bad
leave
shit
alone. Yeah.
again. Try to make it better.
Right. Take a good idea that was executed poorly and remake that. Not a good idea that was executed well and critically and fan received, across the board pretty well. Um, yeah, I don't know. Don't watch this movie.
Heard it from us, folks.
Heard it from us here first. All right, let's get into the mindfulness portion of today's show. And if you are new to the show, welcome. I know over the weekend I handed out a lot of cards for the show and stuff like that, and talked to a lot of people about the show. So if this is your first time at the Horror Pop Extravaganza, this is what we do at the end of every show: is take a couple minutes to talk about a topic or a subject or life event, something in regards to mindfulness and overall well-being, and just observing how we all might be able to be a little bit cooler human beings to ourselves and then as a byproduct to others. So I mentioned I stayed down in Detroit, ton of fun all weekend, staying right downtown. Leaving the Airbnb, jumping on the fucking people mover, riding around town to the convention center and shit like that. At the Renaissance, it's really cool. It's a super confusing building, but it's really cool. And so I did 3 days of a lot of walking, to and from the Airbnb, up and down in the convention center, walking around the convention center. And then I had my 2 or 3 flash sheets that I had made for the convention open. And I had a lot of people Saturday. I fucking slung tattoos all day, dude. Just little fucking hilarious shit. Like people just kept getting these little funny shit. And so I kept doing those. And then Sunday, the whole time, I mentioned my good friend John, who him, myself, and Jason all stayed in an Airbnb together down in Detroit. And I slept on the couch. Jason had an air mattress, and then John had the bedroom over there. But there was a couple nights where the three of us were just hanging out because John is incredible. Like he brought himself 3 ribeye steaks, one for every night, and he was making eggs and shit. So, but the convention, isn't shutting down till like 9, 10 o'clock. And so we're not getting back till a little bit later. But there were a couple nights when we're just up there swapping stories. And I mean, just fucking crying, laughing, dude. Like hysterically laughing, belly laughing in a way that I haven't laughed in a long time, in a really long time. And I've got, one of my oldest friends right there, one of my newest but closest friends right there. And after I had time to reflect on it a little bit, and we even had some conversations about, character and stuff like that, the idea of integrity and I guess honor and things along those lines. And now that I've been able to step back, I can look at it and I realize that it's not the length of the relationship that matters. It is more important than ever the quality of the people you keep around you. It is, because the three of us were talking a lot about, what does it mean to be genuine and to, show up the same, like people know you're the same in public as you are in private. Like there's no difference in you in what you do. And to me, that's really important. I like people like that. I don't want you to put on a fucking front for me because the second I know it, then I'm like, what else are you hiding from me? You know what I mean? Like I want to know that we can be, and not everybody has to be at that level, but I also wouldn't expect you to, if you're a person who habitually does misinform or skew the truth or something like that, I would question not you, but myself, like, why do I continue to keep you close to me? You
Yeah.
know, if it continues to go on that way. And I'm looking at these two men in my life and I'm like, dude, these fucking, a lot of their characteristics fucking inspire me. And I'm like so happy to have these people around me. And that again just drove me back to that idea of character and how often do we evaluate our own character and say, what are my values? What are they? What are my values? Because if you don't determine your values, if we don't determine our values, someone will determine them for us. They will align you with something that is usually profitable. But looking inward and saying, okay, what are my values? And for me, it is stuff like honesty, integrity, empathy, compassion, people who are driven, goal driven, moving towards something is something that when I see that in people, it inspires me, so I want to be a little bit closer to that shit, the people who are naturally like that. So, but I would ask anyone, any one of us to take the time to sit down, even if you have to get out a piece of paper and just write on the top of it, what are my values? And if you can't come up with anything, why? Why don't we have a set that I don't move from these things, And I would be hard pressed to say somebody who has some values like I don't shy away from doing something like super fucked up, like, murdering people in their sleep. When we say values, I'm talking for the most part about the values that as a population we would say, yeah, those are pretty good values. You know what I mean? But if you can look inward and say, okay, what values, and even if you're not that person or we are not those people because we never will be because we've all done fucked up shit, man. We have all done fucked up shit that we're like, right? Who, me? Chode? Never. Chode.
Not me, Jones McDiddler.
Right. Not Chode, never. We have all done things that I think we would say are terrible or we regret doing those things. You and me and us, we're not those people right in this moment, though. And that's the only place you can practice your values is where you're at right now. Even if you were a terrible person, what you think is a terrible person, because for some people, they think they're terrible. And then other people look at it like, dude, what are you talking about? You're beating yourself up about your dumb shit. I know people who fucking steal cars and go blow them up across the border for fucking insurance money. Like, does that seem weird? And they're like, what? But then the insurance people, there could be, you could be like, well, at least I'm not a fucking Somali pirate and fucking doing this. And then you could be like, oh, well, at least I'm not fucking Kim Jong-un fucking doing that kind of, you could continually go. So I think the degree that we look at ourselves, severity ranges, and how harsh we're going to be on ourselves for what we've done. But in the present moment, we have this cool option to say, I'm going to practice these beliefs, these values that I believe. And if you just keep doing that moment to moment to moment, the hope is that pretty soon people can't even deny it because it's just who you are and they just see you as this different person. You're like, yo, I want to be an honest person. And you'll slip the fuck up. We all do. We all slip. But the more you practice, it's not slipping and being like, well, I guess I'm a piece of shit. I'm gonna fuck sit around forever and be fucking be terrible. It's not that. It's like, yo, we're human beings. Everybody slips, but I'm gonna keep trying to be, this person. Well, I'll have those moments that'll come up maybe in the heat of passion or something, but when you continue to try, it gets easier and easier and easier to follow those beliefs and those morals or those values or that compass. I don't know. A lot of people call it a lot of different things. But without it, without some system of this is what I believe in, it's very easy to just feel bombarded by everything. You know what I mean? And when I say believe in, I'm not talking about believe in the fucking political party or believe in a fucking, religion or believe in a sports team or believe in this. I'm talking about things that can only be practiced. Honesty can only be practiced. You know, it can't really be earned. It can't be bought. You can't do any of that. Trustworthiness can be practiced. If somebody says, "Hey, can I trust you? Can you fucking, you know, whatever?" That can only be practiced. Mindfulness can only be practiced. It's not, you know, a destination you can get to. So when you're looking at your values, it's not like my value is making money, because that's something that can be given and taken without your control. If that makes sense, your values should be able to go with you. My belief, our values should be able to go with us anywhere we go, regardless of the situation, you know. So I don't know, man. I had a great weekend. It was awesome. Pushed myself a little bit, met some really cool people, made some really good observations. I've noticed in my life, I rarely am doing anything but walking around contemplating shit. If I'm not actively engaged with somebody, you know, in a conversation or something, or with my kids doing something. And it's been good. So I try to observe a lot, and I think you can learn everything you would ever have to know about life by just closing our mouths and just watching for a while.
Or pop extravaganza.
We'll talk to you next week.
No! No! No!
Extravaganza.